YouTube, it's Mortimer, and today I want to talk to you guys about my honeymoon in Japan and what it was like and what was happening in Japan and all of that. So we left about 3 weeks ago. We went for 16 days to Japan and it was a total blast. Now, I've been to Japan before, so I knew what to expect, but my husband had never been and didn't really know what to expect. And he's been practicing Japanese for quite a while now. He's been having a tutor teach him, so he's on a very basic level of understanding Japanese. And I know literally nothing in Japanese. I know several phrases, but that's about it. Now, one thing that people don't really seem to expect when I'm talking to them about Japan is that everybody in Tokyo speaks English. And now that's stretching it. Not everybody speaks English, but majority of every person you will meet in Tokyo will speak English, or at least try to speak English to help you around if you get lost or you need help. They're more than willing to help. People in Tokyo are super kind and super helpful. Now all of the signs are in English. Every subway sign, every sign on the streets, everything is in English. And usually, you know, it's in Japanese first and underneath it it's written in English. But you will have no problems getting around. You will have no problem coming out of the airport and going through customs, anything like that. It's super easy. Japan loves like having, you know, visitors and people come visit its country and tourists. So I cannot recommend enough. If that's what you're worried about, don't let it worry you. You will get along just fine. Now, one thing that we found to be a hindrance was that, you know, while my husband was learning Japanese, he wasn't fluent yet. So if he started to talk to somebody in Japanese, they would immediately assume that he was fluent in it and then just go off talking super fast to him in Japanese, and he just wouldn't be able to pick it up. So please keep in mind when you're there that if you do speak a little bit of Japanese, people are going to automatically assume that you're fluent, and you just got to be prepared for that because they're going to come at you 10 million words a second. So to get to Japan, it all depends on where you're from, but from us leaving from LAX, the LA airport, it was a 12-hour flight there and a 10-hour flight back home. And when you're on a flight that long, you gotta remember to stay hydrated because it's super dry on that airplane, and you gotta remember to take vitamins because usually there's gonna be sick people all around you and you're stuck with them for half a day. So we took lots of airborne with us and Gatorade and water and lip balm. Lip balm is going to be your best friend on a flight that long, trust me. Make sure to wear really comfy clothes and to wear loose-fitting shoes because your legs and feet will swell up. I couldn't believe how much my legs and feet swelled up, and I was wearing my running shoes, so they're really tight-fitting. And when we were getting off the plane, I put back on my shoes and I could hardly fit them back on my feet. So please keep that in mind. Wear comfortable clothes. Try not to wear any makeup. I didn't wear any makeup on my flight just so I could rub my face and sleep. And our flight, we flew Singapore Airlines. They supplied us with a toothbrush and socks and things like that. So keep in mind that'll be nice, but they also love to feed you a lot on that flight. So don't eat anything beforehand because they're gonna give you 2 meals and then unlimited like sandwiches and snacks and things like that. So that was really nice. You don't get those on flights these days. So like I said, our flight was super long. It was 12 hours there. As soon as we got off the plane, we had to grab our bags and go through immigration, which is a really easy process. You just go up with your passport. They look at your passport. They ask to see when you're leaving Japan because you have to have a ticket showing that you are intending to leave the country so they don't think that you're, you know, staying there illegally. And then they stamp your passport and they look over your bags to make sure you're not taking anything illegal into the country because they don't allow, you know, like weed or anything like that. So they're very, very stringent on what you can take with you. So please keep that in mind. They also do not allow you to take fireworks, like aerosols, things like that. So they're super picky about it. No nuts and fruit, no vegetation, stuff like that. They just won't allow it. So we got our bags, we went through immigration, then we went through customs, and then we were off finding the subway. Now, once we got down to the rail system underground of the airport, our first stop was finding the JR Rail Pass people because we were getting a certain pass that you can use to ride all of the trains on this certain line for free. And it's kind of expensive. It's $500 a person to get this pass for 2 weeks. And we needed it because we were traveling to Kyoto and Nagoya, which, you know, is literally all the way across Japan. And if we were to go all of those ways just paying out of pocket, it would have been around $700 to $1,000. So it was worth it for us to buy the passes. I really recommend them to you guys. I didn't get it the first time I went to Japan, but then again I didn't need it because I was only staying in Tokyo. So definitely keep that in mind and calculate how much you're going to be spending on the railway system before you buy the pass, because sometimes it just isn't worth it to buy the pass because it is really expensive. But this was my first time buying it. It was super easy to pick up. I was a little bit worried about it, but it was so easy, and they helped us find the right train, and we got on it and we went straight to our hotel from there. We stayed at the Park Hyatt, which is the hotel from Lost in Translation, and it was amazing. As soon as we walked up to the building, they were waiting for us outside with a bouquet of flowers for me, and they took us straight up to our room. They took all of our bags for us, so they were already there by the time we got to the room, and they did the whole check-in process from our room. So we didn't even have to go to the checkout counter or anything. They put the flowers and water for me and brought our bags up, and they checked us all in, and then they were gone, and our view was beautiful. We had this lovely view of Tokyo. It was just great, and I really cannot recommend that hotel enough to you guys. They were so accommodating. I remember I called them the morning we were going to Tokyo Disney and asked what the best way was to go there, and they said, hold on 1 second, and within 2 minutes they're knocking on the door to our room with printed out instructions on how to get to Tokyo Disneyland and the best routes and the closing times and everything, all just for us, and it was amazing. But I should also note that no matter how awesome their service is, they don't usually accept tips in Japan. So definitely keep that in mind. I wish we would adopt that system here in the US, because I feel like employees are treated to a better wage and makes them like their jobs more, and they don't feel like they're groveling for tips. It's so nice, and I wish we had something like that here in the States, so all of my friends didn't have to work so hard to please somebody and then not get a tip. And that's their living. So I feel like the no tipping system in Japan is amazing, and I wish you would have that here. So after we checked into our room the very next day, we went to Tokyo Disneyland and Tokyo Disney Sea, and those parks are marvelous. We're big Disney people, so it was really important for us to go there. Tokyo Disneyland is very similar to Disneyland or Disney World, depending on where you're from. And Disney Sea is a totally new park experience. I've never been to a park like that before. I can't recommend enough to you guys. I don't really want to give anything away, but if you're really interested, I recommend checking out their website. We went to Disneyland on Halloween Day, and it was definitely a new experience because, you know, Japan is kind of new at celebrating Halloween. They don't do trick-or-treating, but they do dress up and they have crazy parties. So on Halloween Day at Disneyland, everybody came in costume and everybody made their own costumes. And it was amazing. It felt like everybody was trying to dress up as the most obscure Disney characters. And I think the character that I saw the most people dressed up as was Donald Duck, followed by the Cheshire Cat, and then followed by Alice in Wonderland. They were the most popular costumes I saw there. But every costume was amazing and unique, and it looked like people put so much effort into their costumes. It was really great to see. Now I didn't bring a costume with me, but they had for sale this really cute Cheshire Cat hat and leg warmers, so I put those on, and Aaron was just himself. He didn't really feel like dressing up because it was really hot out right then, but it was a lot of fun. And they also had certain like cast members wearing like aprons, and if you went up to them and said Happy Halloween or trick or treat, they would give you candy. So it was really cool for people who aren't used to trick-or-treating. They could at least try it out in the park and see if they liked it. But after that, we went all over Tokyo and enjoyed it. We went to Kyoto with some friends, which is the more historic side of Japan. And I recommend anybody, if you go to Japan, please go to Kyoto. You're gonna love it, especially in this season, like fall. You'll get to see all of the leaves changing color from orange to yellow to red. It was so beautiful, and the shrines are beautiful, and my favorite part about our trip was I got to go to a studio where they dress you up like a geisha, and they put the wig on you, they do the makeup, and they put on the kimonos, and you do like a little photo shoot dressed up, and it is the coolest souvenir. I meant to do it the first time I went to Japan, but I couldn't find the studio. But this time around I found it, and I loved it. Like, I always regretted not doing it, and now that I finally have those pictures, I'm so happy, and I recommend everybody do it. It's really fun. They'll even let you dress up if you're a guy. If you're interested in dressing up as a geisha, just call and make sure you're going to the right studio. And if you don't want to dress up like a geisha and you're a guy, you can also dress up as a samurai or a Shinsengumi member. It's really fun and the pictures came out beautiful. I can't believe how great the pictures turned out. So overall, I would say our trip was extremely fun. We got to see a lot of things that I didn't get to see the first time we went to Japan because we did travel outside of Tokyo, which, you know, Tokyo is great. You can easily spend 2 weeks just in Tokyo, but being able to get out and see more was the best part. And I really recommend it if you go to Japan and have the chance to leave the city to do it. And it is really expensive, and especially if you're not renting a car, but it's so worth it, and especially if you get that rail pass, it's so like awesome. Now, one of my favorite parts about being in Japan is shopping, and I love the clothing, the styles, but it also really sucks because the people in Japan are built differently than Americans. As Americans, we have very broad shoulders, and it seems to be that a lot of Japanese people have very sloped shoulders, and people there are also much more like thin in build. And I'm a little bit more meaty, and Aaron's super tall and a little thick. So Aaron did not fit in any clothes in Japan. There's no way Aaron would fit in any of the clothes. And I had trouble fitting into clothes, but I did find several different items that I really enjoyed, and I can't wait to share those with you guys. That'll be a separate video. But like for example, my shoes, I am a size 8.5, 9, depending on where I shop here in the US. In Japan, that's a LL, which is like an extra large. Another example is that I am not very well endowed in the chest area, but in Japan, I'm a double D. Right? Someone's kind of weird with their sizing system, or maybe it's our sizing system that's weird, but I thought that was extremely strange. A lot of the shops I went to had shirts that were only one size fits all, and they were way too tiny for me. My favorite store there, Dia, has pants and shorts, but they come in 3 sizes: extra small, small, and medium. And I could only buy 2 pairs of their medium pants they had in the store because they were made out of super stretchy material, and even then they just fit me. So definitely keep that in mind. If you're planning to go to Japan and buy all new clothes, keep in mind that they run very, very small if you're American. And as for makeup, I bought so much makeup. It seems like all of their foundations and things only come in natural beige and beige, which is more pale yellow, which doesn't really work for my skin tone, so unfortunately I bought some like natural beige shade foundation and it just makes me look orange. So also keep that in mind. They're not very big on ranges in foundation. If you are anything darker than that or lighter than beige, then you're out of luck. But I did stock up on so many fake eyelashes and blush and eyeliner and everything like that. Like, it's a makeup girl's dream. As for styles for winter, they're really into this thing they call cocoon style, which is where you wear so many bundles of coats and things that instead of like being tight and showing your curves like we do in the States, you kind of go out. And then you have these 2 tiny little stick legs sticking out of the bottom of your jackets. And that's what's trending there right now. Girls really love to do the side ponytail or a big bun on top of your head. Everybody wears high heels anywhere. Like, every girl you would see on the streets was wearing high-heeled boots, high heels. And they're always put together, always. Like, even when we were, you know, on the outskirts of Tokyo, like out in the country, girls always went out looking their best. And I find that really surprising because I will go weeks without wearing any makeup and clothes if I don't have to. So that was really surprising to me. Another culture shock thing, if you're a girl traveling to Japan, no cleavage is allowed. Now, granted, you can't do cleavage, but that is considered kind of like a you're asking for people to stare at you thing, which is really weird. And here in the States, you know, you can dress however you want to dress. But in Japan, you can show as much leg as you want to show. And I find that a little bit strange, but they do let you wear extremely short shorts or skirts, and it's acceptable as long as you don't show any cleavage at all. And that's just how they are there. So I found that to be really interesting because I'll wear short shorts here and I'll feel really insecure about them being too short. But in Japan, they're like long. So I don't know, just something I noticed and I thought was really interesting culturally. But like I said, I bought so many new clothes. I'm gonna be making videos about those for you guys. And outfits like that I find that are inspired by the culture and the fashions that are big there right now. But if you guys have any questions or comments, go ahead and leave those down below. I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. If you've been to Tokyo and you want to share tips for people who are looking for them, definitely share them down below. we're already planning our next trip. We can't wait to go back. I love Japan so much, and we both had the best time. So thank you, Japan, for an awesome, like, unforgettable honeymoon. It was just perfect. So thank you guys for watching. Please take a minute to subscribe if you're not subscribed. I have new videos coming up all the time, and I can't wait to see you guys all again real soon. Bye, everybody!